Welcome to another session of English with Miss Marshall. Today I wanted to talk about our first assessment that we will be doing, which is the close viewing standard, which is AS 90856. What exactly is close viewing? Close viewing is all about kind of the visual aspect of close reading. So you've been looking at some unfamiliar texts and you've been close reading them. Close viewing is the same, but it's with film. When you do a close viewing, you generally look at just a scene and you break it down to the different techniques that the director uses to accomplish their purpose to the intended audience. Now, what are these film techniques that the director uses? Film techniques are anything that the director deliberately uses to have an effect on the audience. So essentially everything in a film. The trick is to separate how each element contributes to the overall message, style, and tone of the film, just like when we break down an author's writing to see how it is that they've communicated their message within that writing. We do the same for film. We want to see how they've communicated their message within the film. Just some sample film techniques. Film techniques can be any one of these. And I'm not going to read them all out because you can do that, and this is really just an overview of kind of what is included, what can be film techniques. Ultimately, what will you need to do? In the assessment, when we get there, you will need to do these things for the achieved and the merit and the excellence. For an achieved, to pass the assessment, at the bare minimum, you need to identify and describe at least 4 different film techniques within the scene that we choose for you to do the assessment. Now, to be safe, we do ask you to do 6, because that way if you do 6 and you flub up on one of them, then you're still safe. If you've just done 4 and one of them's kind of off track or you haven't done it well enough, then that means that we can't pass you. The standard says you need 4 at achieved level in order to pass. So do 6, aim for 6, and you should be all right. Now, not only do you need to identify and describe them, you need to explain how they work to have an effect on the audience. It's all well and good to be like, I saw this camera shot and it looked like this, but if you don't explain why that's important, why do we care, then it's not going to do anything. For merit, you need to do all of that, everything for an achieved, plus you need to start linking in the director's purpose. What is their overall message in the scene? Link in other techniques or similar techniques in other scenes. How does this technique that you've explained work alongside another technique to achieve the same purpose for a greater overall effectiveness? So in general, you want to think of the director as having an overall purpose, that overall message of that scene, kind of a feeling that they want the audience to feel, or a tone they want to set, or even just a kind of blatant overall message that they really want the audience to take home and to understand about the scene. And all these different techniques contribute in all these different ways. And if you can start seeing that the camera work works with the sound in a certain particular way, that's what we want for a merit, when you start talking about that and explaining how everything kind of starts coming together. And for an excellence, you have to do all of that, plus ideally connect the director's purpose to everyday life. That's essentially why do we care. It's the so what. What is the takeaway message from the scene or for the film overall? And there will be one, because otherwise we wouldn't watch, films wouldn't sell. If we didn't care, we wouldn't bother, and we wouldn't spend masses of money on films. So what now? Where to from here? We're just starting the unit. We will spend some time learning about different film techniques for their overall purpose and how those techniques tend to affect the audience. When you understand what the techniques are trying to accomplish in general, then you can start applying those techniques to the specific scenes and start breaking them apart that way and seeing how they work in different specific scenes, rather than just talking about kind of an overall, generally this technique does this. We want you to get far more specific than that. The assessment will be open book, so taking good notes in order to have them on hand is really crucial. You'll have a booklet that will assist you with this. And yeah. So that's close viewing, that's where we're going to from here. I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time lecturing you because I've got this all prepared on slides already, you lucky people. So what I'm going to have you be doing from here is I've got the booklets for you. You're going to go through and see what you can find out on your own with some guidance and assistance from me and from your teachers. And then we'll start breaking down specific different scenes for practice. We'll look at the different scenes and see how different techniques work in those scenes and move on from there. We will do a practice assessment in slightly strict but less strict than the assessment conditions, so you start getting a feel for what you know and what you don't know and what you need to spend more time on. Hopefully that all makes sense. The other thing I would like to talk about just briefly before I go is I mentioned last time I'm open to comments and feedback, especially as this is new and different for all of us. I am going to be putting a brief Google form on your classrooms for about each time you have lessons. What I want from that is I just want the feedback. I want yay or nay, or this was really good and this really kind of sucked, and I want that feedback so that can help me change and help me become better and give you what you need. Also, it'll be a space to just ask a question and be like, oh hey, when you did this is what I thought, or could you go more in detail on that? Cool. Until later, I'll see you when I see you.